We're currently in April of 2010, almost 4 years after the initial design and development of Cottage Square began in June of 2006. And since then, we have been able to develop and put in place 14 cottages of various types, shapes, forms, building materials, and 8 of which are Mississippi cottages, which were a derivative of the original Katrina cottage. We have 1-bedroom units, which are around 400 square feet, double occupancy at max, but most of them are occupied by single individuals, varying ages from early 20s to probably in their 70s. We see a lot of bicycles show up, and they'll ride their bike to the local grocery store, which is within a quarter mile from here. There's a local YMCA, and the schools are right across the street. There's an elementary school and a high school within walking distance.
I chose to live here because I wanted to be independent. I didn't want to go to a place where a lot, I know that sounds funny, old people, but I wanted to be where, stay alive and be around some young people too. We had Katrina, and my husband and I redid our house. It was a big 4-bedroom house with a big pool and lots and lots of rooms. And when my husband died, it became so lonely. And at that time I lived in a neighborhood of people working. Most of them worked, and or a few elderly people. And it was like rattling around, and I didn't even go in the house. Went down and signed in, and it was like it's almost like a fairy tale, you know, a little quaint. I thought of Seashore down in, which is much larger, but it's based on that community type thing, and which is what makes this work, community. Just couldn't believe how well it had been structured. There's just a little bit of architectural change in the fences and everything as you go by. Just enough to make it look like one of those old neighborhoods, you know, that everybody loved. And which we have very little of now because everybody are working and don't take time to speak to their neighbors. But here, you do because it's small.
It's been kind of an interesting mix of vocations and types of people that decided they like to live in this environment.
I have been in many settings over nearly 30 years. Moved to Cottage Square in January. It's now mid-April and everything is in bloom. I feel I've been blessed to find this. My clients love it. As you drive back into this setting, it's like taking a breath of fresh air.
And I feel safe here. This is very important for somebody my age. I assume it is for other people too. I can go out here at night, walk my dog, walk around there, put my garbage out. Somebody usually puts my garbage out for me. I can't say I put it out because they do it for me. And I don't feel any fear or anything. It's warm. I know that if I were to, something were to happen, if I yelled, people would be right out the door.
I'm in a 3-room cottage. I have a room for children, the standard therapy room for adults and families, and it's the best that I've ever been in. As you walk along here and you see everything in bloom, you'll get an arm thrown up to say hi by a neighbor. Clients will sit out here on my porch and wait for me if I'm in session with someone else. That many have said that it reminds them of when they grew up, the type of neighborhood and setting, and like it here very much.
So I immediately signed up, came home, hadn't been in, but I knew it was what I wanted, and it is. Now I'm still getting rid of boxes of things that I needed to get through before, but just didn't want to do. But one day it'll be just the way I want it. Just the way I want it. I'm Martha Ann Ello. I'm 74 years old, and I'm a retired RN.
I'm Kathy Roberts. I'm a mental health counselor. I have been doing this for nearly 30 years, and I'm located here at Cottage Square in Ocean Springs.
I'm Bruce Toller, architect and developer of Cottage Square, Ocean Springs, Mississippi.